Hey guys, I hope you're doing great. Today I want to just take a minute to talk to you a little bit about Africa. Africa is this huge continent in the international community that we all know about. But when we say the word Africa, and when we think of Africa as this continent, usually one of the first things that would jump into the mind of a Westerner is that Africa is this continent that's kind of left behind versus the rest of the world. They're kind of a little bit more primitive versus the rest of the world. Things are always bad in Africa. There's more poverty, there's more crime, there's a lot of bad stuff happening in Africa. And now don't get me wrong, not all of Africa is the same, and there are certainly countries in Africa way better off than others, okay? But when we talk about Africa as a whole, the continent is suffering, and it always has. But why? Why is it that a country so rich in minerals and all these things are, you know, diamonds, gold, all these things, all these precious metals, how come they still struggle? It's not like they don't have the ability to prosper. Well, as with most things, the reason is spiritual. And, you know, I grew up in Africa, if you will, my entire life, and not in Africa. Africa's not a country, of course. It's a continent. But I grew up in South Africa, the tip of Africa. And I really got a taste of Africa in my growing up. And one of the big, this is why I can speak on this, and I've experienced this hand to hand. And as a minister of the gospel, I have come into contact face to face with these issues on a very regular basis. And we don't need to look any further from my local newspaper where I'm at right now. And, you know, I opened a local newspaper. This is one of the better ones. And, you know, when I went to the end of this newspaper in the ads section, you know, I found this. And I want to show you these ads, and I want to read to you one or two of them, so you can actually understand how crazy this is. Because this is one of the better newspapers. This is one of the more, you know, this is not the weird newspaper that, you know, this is the one that's kind of good. And I want to read to you. Check this out, guys. So, this is the piece, and it's obviously, you guys can read Herbalist, and it's like a section full of witch doctor ads. And you know, for example, if we come here, Prophet Mama Siziyanka from Economy Eastern Cape, and then we read here about how she says, I decree and declare this year, become a counselor, mayor and honorable, I profess financial good news, get your dream car, job, house and promotions, all witchcraft on your family, company to be destroyed, it's your time to receive, just call this number. Did you read that? Like, witchcraft on your family, I can destroy a company if you desire a company to be destroyed. Okay, let's go on, check this one. This one is crazy, guys. I mean, this is a whole story about this witch doctor. I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to read this little part here. He says, how he talks about how he was on this island and how these spirits were coming to him. And then he says, we lived and we had a big snake at home, and the snake had its own room in the house. The snake was called Ange, was the only friend I had to play with because our house was in the middle of the forest. Till now, whenever I go, the snake follows me and is the one who helps me to have shoes, special powers for helping people with problems like financial business, quick money to your house, or whatever, lost lover, sexual marriage problems. Okay, I'm not even going to read the rest. There are some really inappropriate things even in there. So, guys, like, this stuff here, this is common. This is the way that many of the black cultures in South Africa and in many African cultures get their problems, or try to get their problems fixed. You know, these are the people who are exploited by these ads, or people who are actually desperate, who are in financial trouble, who have whatever kind of issues. And a lot of times it's innocent people just looking for a way out who hasn't found God yet. And then they turn to ancestor worship, they turn to animal sacrifices. And these sangomas, as they're called, or witch doctors, they do straight up witchcraft. They drink blood with their participants. They do all these weird rituals to get people to come and come and participate. And so these people go to these people for help, to these witch doctors for help, and a lot of the issues that they have in their life are because of demonic presence already. And now they go to a witch doctor, and then the witch doctor tries to use his spiritual snake powers, like we just read, to get rid of these other demons. But that's not how it works. You don't get rid of darkness with darkness. And then they try and do this, and then they end up with more problems than they had before they came to the witch doctor. And then we have this endless cycle, and then their children get raised to do the same. Their children get raised to do the same. And it's a generational thing. And a lot of the people, a lot of these witch doctors will tell you they're actually Christian. A lot of the people who go to them are going to tell you they're Christian. But this is why Africa looks the way it looks. Now, why am I telling you this? You're probably Western if you're watching this video. You're probably not really this audience. I want to ask you to come and pray for Africa and pray against these issues. Yes, every country has its issues. Africa has some of the worst witchcraft issues in the world. To be honest with you, the witchcraft we have in other countries, it doesn't always measure up to what we see in Africa. Because this is blatant. It's in the local newspaper. It's not a secret. It's not an underground thing. It is open. You can contact anyone here in the local newspaper and go to a witch doctor. It's that easy. And that's why we need to pray for these people to get Christ instead of go to a witch doctor. Right, guys, please, I call you out this weekend. Come and let's pray for these people. Let's pray for them to be set free. May God bless you and keep you, shine his face upon you, his countenance upon you, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Shalom and blessings.